I've got the brand new shape 2024 Mini Countryman. Yes, the not so mini. This is the bigger size Mini you can get, but it is actually big in terms of sales for Mini. It's actually the second best selling model for the brand. We're going to give it a full test drive and review and find out if it's worth it. If that sounds good to you and you enjoy car content like this, hit subscribe for more videos. So let's get right to it. The Countryman has been around for almost 14 years now. This is the third generation Countryman. It does share the same platform as the BMW X1, the X2. This is the new design language now for Mini. Still got some design features of the original Mini. We've got the famous hoop design. It's daytime running LEDs. They do a little light up pattern as well, which I'll show you. I like the new boxy shape, futuristic design here. You've got the curved windshield design up there. Famous sort of Mini mouth front grille here. Got a front camera and sensor there at the bottom. Inside you can actually see some little struts there, strut bracing just to help rigidity, and gold plated Mini logo with the wings. What I do like about the Minis is you can kind of kit it out and accessorize it. I think that's why a lot of people do enjoy the brand. So let's have a look at the side profile, and as you can see, it is a lot longer than you'd expect. It is 6 centimeters taller, but also 13 centimeters longer than the previous gen. We've got the sort of proportions that make it look an SUV, like a Mini Jeep. We've even got the roof rack on there as well. They've kind of trimmed it down a little bit. You don't get the flared wheel arches as such, but it kind of pops out on the stance. 19-inch alloys there with the Mini logo in the middle. On the side skirts, you get this sort of gold design here with the plastic cladding, but on the wing mirrors, they are foldable. They have cameras as well, normal door handles there. You can actually get a digital key on your app, which you can use to access the car as well. You've got this mountain sketch design panel on here. So let's have a look at the rear design, and things aren't too different to the previous generation. You've got the Countryman with the big Mini badge. What I do like is this sort of overlapping spoiler here with the brake light. Turn it on, you get the Union Jack LEDs. You can actually edit this on the display inside, but underneath here you do have a rear blacked out window, rear wiper as well. It's not a 2 folding boot. It's not like a Clubman. Old plastic cladding at the bottom here, and you do get a camera at the bottom. Now it is an electronic tailgate, and I think you'll be surprised at how much space is in this boot. So Mini do promise around 460 litres of boot space, 10 litres more than the previous generation. We can get up to nearly 1,390 litres with the seats folded down. You get 3 petrol engines, which are mild hybrids, none of which are manual or diesel, starting with a 1.5 litre and the more powerful 2 litre, which the range topping John Cooper Works has. And lastly, you can opt for an all-electric. The version I've got today is the Countryman C. This is the entry-level model, but it is kitted out with a lot of extras. I've got the 1.5 petrol turbocharged 7-speed automatic. It is a front-wheel drive as well, so there's no rear-wheel drive. You can actually opt for all-wheel drive. I think if I was to opt for the Countryman and I'm doing a bit of motorway mileage, I'd definitely go for the all-wheel drive version, just for better traction. It's based on the rear axle. It's 50-50 distribution on how much torque is in the wheels. Deliver a bit more of a smoother ride, I would say, especially when you're braking as well. Got a little flicker switch there to turn the engine on. Nice little touch. So when the Countryman first came out, I wasn't really a fan of the car. I didn't think it drove particularly well. I thought it was overpriced. I thought the space in the back was terrible. The interior was very cool, but it's a lot bigger inside. The drive is definitely a lot better than what it was. The road holding itself, though, because it is front wheel drive, does seem to adapt to most roads reasonably well. The steering is very sensitive, if not a bit too sensitive. You end up sort of steering a bit more than usual if you are doing a lot of gallivanting on the motorway. When you are accelerating, if you do put your foot down rather abruptly, you can get a tiny bit of torque steering as well. Even though this is a big car, it certainly feels nimble. Suspension is a lot firmer than I thought it would be. It's definitely not uncomfortable. I think what really makes this Countryman feel a lot more is the suspension, but also the front braces that you get in front of the radiator grille. Strut braces as well over the engine bay, so it gives you that added rigidness to the chassis. It is pretty fun to drive. I would have preferred some flappy paddles to sort of really get engaged with the driving. I mean, the way the drive output is figured with the dual clutch automatic, it just seems very keen to get through those gears very quickly. So you could set off from 10 to 15 miles per hour and you'll already be in third gear. yeah, it does seem to be quite sprightly and definitely not docile. So in terms of driving modes, you don't really get any. It's more experiences. What you do is just flick the switch at the bottom there, and it will transcend the whole cabin into the sort of theme it's in. So for instance, there's a racing one, turns the whole cabin into this go-kart sporty theme, similar to the BMW i5. Obviously BMW owns Mini, so there's a lot of similarities there. But I've just done the BMW i5. If you want to check that video out there, and it'll take you to that. What is really cool, and I'll show you now, is the traffic light recognition. If you are not paying attention and you're looking elsewhere, it has a sensor here. It will give you a warning to let you know when the lights have turned green. It works really well. I'd rather that than someone behind beeping. You do get quite a bit of road noise on the motorway. Tiny bit of wind buffering as well here, but it's definitely nothing to put you off or complain about. I think this is why people prefer the Countryman, because you do ride a lot higher up. What's it like inside the new Mini Countryman? I like how airy and how big it feels. The only thing that is mini within the cabin is the glove box is rather small, and also the handle. That seems to be the only mini thing around it. But that's probably a good thing if you want a Countryman. You do want a bigger version of the Mini. That's what it's all about. But I've got to say, this new design cabin is all about simplicity. It's definitely a lot different to the previous generations, where everything was a bit all up here and down here, but kind of mellowed it all out a little bit. Choice of materials, some may and some may not like it. You sort of get this knitted fabric across the dash, and that's all around the cabin. Now you can customize this if you don't like the color choice in here, sort of contrasting gold and sort of teal light blue design. This is pretty much what the new Mini 3-door hatch would look like as well. There is some sort of ethos behind all this. It's to show that it's more eco-friendly, especially if you go for the full electric version. It is a lot different. I don't know if I prefer the previous interior or not. I think it will grow on me. You get the stitching, the Mini badge on the seats. They are comfortable. The headrests aren't that comfortable. They are quite firm, but you do get some perforated seats, leather, and some blue stitching all around the seats as well. So it does feel very well made. There are some hard plastics though, especially on the glove compartment and down here in the door bins, the lower end. You get heads-up display as well, and your 9-inch touchscreen display as well. Now this is going back to the heritage of Mini, the circular speedometer. This is all digital now. There is no analog in there. I would have preferred an analog feel. You get that on every single model, even on the base trim. I would have preferred if they just kept most of the switches to do with the aircon with the old school piano keys. I like that. But if I turn the Mini on, you actually rotate the engine key just to the right. The 3D cameras are really impressive. Because of the ring design, anything square shape has to fit in within that circle. So your gear controls aren't anywhere else. You have to use them here. The gear controls are reverse, neutral, drive. You do get a wireless charging pad here at the top. Underneath, some cubby space, 2 big cup holders, little storage bin here with the Mini logo on. You get a fabric loop here to open it up. At the side here you get 2 USB-C ports and a 12-volt socket. With the Countryman you get slide out armrest, but it doesn't go any higher. You would just need to adjust your seats up and down. Harman and Kardon speakers. Remember, this is kitted out with some extra specs. You can close the panoramic sunroof, and also you can open it and stop it wherever you need to. It is a divided roof. This steering wheel is very BMW-esque, very nice stitching effect around here with a Mini logo in the middle, again with a 2-tone gold. Thankfully they're not touch capacitive buttons. So what's the space like in the back? What I do love about the Countryman is how much headroom, and I'm just near 6'2", so this really is probably one of the most spacious cars I've been in. It's not claustrophobic or anything like that. The sunroof does go all the way back, which you can see how airy it is, not just for the driver but also for the passengers as well. If your driver's got long legs, you can move the back seats back and forth. So if you need more boot space, you can pull the seats forward. If you need more leg room, pull them back as well. Yeah, it may touch a little bit, but because of the soft leather on the back, it's still comfortable. And I haven't changed that from my driving position at all. The seats don't really cover all your legs though. You are kind of left dangling a little bit, but you sat sort of like on a recline. Nice fixed seats here at the side. You get a pull out armrest with your 2 cup holders. There's no ski hatch there. The middle seat belt does come all the way from the back. Got a handle here, touch sensitive light, and some coat hooks here. It's not really as funky or as high tech in the back. You just get a rolling switch here for the air vents. Just some hard plastics though in the center. But all in all, for kids and families, I think you'd be absolutely fine in here. This one has kind of tilted me a bit. I really like the design. The technology on board's brilliant. I'm really impressed with how much space there is in this car. I'm a bit 50-50 with the interior, but I feel like it would grow on me. I feel the 1.5 petrol works really well. It is quite fun to drive. I love the quirkiness Mini do. I love the accessories you can have. It really just is a fun brand. It's quite competitively priced, but if you do start to add any extras on there, it will be quite expensive. But I think if you are in the market for a family SUV that's not boring, you cannot go wrong with the Mini Countryman. Let us know in the comments section below what you think of the new Mini Countryman. A big shout out to Williams Mini in Stockport for letting me review the brand new Countryman. If you have any questions or would like to find out more or even book a test drive, I'll leave a link in the description below. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Stay tuned and we'll see you again on the next video on Is It Worth It?